All right, so we have to simplify a complex fraction. You can see in the numerator, you're subtracting. If we just cover up the bottom, isn't that exactly what we did yesterday? And when we subtract, what we're trying to do is make it into one term, okay? And then, like I said, if we have this is what we were just doing in 9.1, right? If you can simplify each one down to one term, this is just division, and you can do keep, change, flip. And so our goal is going to be to simplify the numerator to one term. Okay, so when you're simplifying in example 2, the first thing we're going to do is simplify the numerator. Going to simplify the denominator. And by simplify, what we mean is you're going to make it into one term. Because if you can make that into one term, then we can divide using the keep, change, flip. All right, so we're just going to do the numerator exactly how we did yesterday. So when you're looking for the LCD, we're just going to start here. X plus 6 has to be part of it. So does the 2x minus 1. Okay, there's nothing to factor here. So we're going to multiply the second fraction by the x plus 6, which is the denominator of the first. And we're going to multiply the first fraction by the denominator of the second. And we're going to write what that is down here. Okay, so we're going to distribute the 5. We have the 10x minus 5. Once we distribute, 5 times 2x, 5 times negative 1. And then remember what I told you yesterday, when we have the minus, think of it as plus a negative. And when you distribute the negative 2x. So it becomes negative 2x squared minus 12x. And then all of that is over your least common denominator, 2x minus 1 times x plus 6. Okay, and then usually what I'll do is I'll keep going with that one. Okay, so I'll simplify to get 2x squared. 10x minus 12x is negative 2x minus 5 over 2x minus 1 times x plus 6. Okay, and we will try to factor that just in a little bit. All right, and now we're going to do the same strategy for the denominator. So if I'm just trying to simplify this, I want to know what to multiply by to get the LCD. So here I'm going to multiply by 2x minus 1 over itself. Here I'm going to multiply by x plus 6. So remember, one thing we're being intentional about is we are multiplying by something that is equivalent to 1. Okay, and when you're multiplying, okay, your LCD is the 2x minus 1 times x plus 6. All right, so we're going to distribute x times x is x squared, and then x times 6. I have a positive 4 here, so this is 8x minus 4. All right, and then we're going to write it in standard form. And then once you have those simplified, now we can do the keep, change, flip with the division. Okay. So in my next step, I have negative 2x squared minus 2x minus 5 over minus 1 times x plus 6. And now I'm just going to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, you may have noticed that these denominators were the same. So when you are multiplying, or when you are dividing, and you end up multiplying by the reciprocal, those are going to cancel if the denominators are the same. Okay, when you're doing this, if you notice they're the same at this step, it's fine if you cancel them out, because if you keep change flip, the same thing will happen. And then we're also going to try to factor these if we can. We'll start here. All right, so you're looking for something that multiplies to negative 4 but adds to 14. What are the only things that multiply to negative 4? 1 and 4, and they have to be opposite, and 2 and negative 2. Is there any way you're going to be able to add to 14? No, so it's not factorable. Now with this one, I would take out the negative first just because it's easier for me to factor that way with the positive start there. So I have 2x and x is how I'd start. Now notice that this is plus and this is plus. So the only way you get to 5 is 1 times 5. So there's no way you're going to be able to get to 2 from that because they're both positive. Okay, so that's also not factorable. Which means your final answer is negative 2x squared minus 2x minus 5 over x squared plus 14x minus 4. And if you wanted to leave like the numerator with the negative factor out, that would be fine. You just don't have to if it's the negative 1. Okay, any other GCF, you are going to want to make sure you take that out. All right, and then for B, I'm going to use some of the space up here. So we have 8 over x squared minus 16 minus x over 3x plus 2 and then 3 over 3x plus 2 plus 4x over x squared minus 16. Okay, and I am going to give you a little hint on this one because normally what we've been doing is we've been factoring here. Okay, so if you're factoring this, I just want to show you what happens because you guys know this is x plus 4 times x minus 4, right? You're going to have to multiply this by the x plus 4 times the x minus 4, right? So if you multiply the x plus 4 times the x minus 4, in order to multiply that by x, what would you have to do to those? You have to multiply them back together. You have to FOIL those out. Okay, so because we're going to have to FOIL them anyway, you don't have to worry about factoring it down in this case. If you had x plus 4, x minus 4 here, you definitely would want to. Okay, but for this one, it's going to be quicker to do that. Okay, and then I'm going to give you time to simplify. You can write out what you get down below. Do we need any more time to simplify the numerator? Okay, so I got 24x plus 16, and then when I distribute the negative x, I got negative x cubed plus 16x. Okay, and then like I said, we're going to leave this like that for now. So once you write this in standard form, you're going to see you have negative x cubed plus 40x plus 16. So you are not going to be able to factor this because you have the cube and you can't take an x out of everything. Okay, and there's no GCF, so we're going to leave it just like that. Your denominator also has 3x plus 2 and x squared minus 16. So for this one, we're going to multiply by 3x plus 2 over itself. And then here we're going to multiply by x squared minus 16 over itself. Okay, so as we've gone over the notes, I've been telling you this is going to be an important step that we're going to have to see. So when I'm grading your homework, I'm looking for this step that you have what you're multiplying by. And then we're going to distribute. So 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 16, that's going to be negative 48. And then when you multiply 4x by 3x, the number by number will give you 12. X times x is x squared. 4x times 2 will be 8x. And all of that is over your LCD. Okay, so I have 15x squared plus 8x minus 48. Okay, and then like I said for the last one, once you notice that you have the same LCD, you don't necessarily have to write out the keep, change, flip. You can cancel out the denominators here. They do have to be the exact same though, okay? So it has to be both factors. And then once you have that, if you look back here, when we cancel those out, what was on the numerator stayed in the numerator. What was in the denominator stayed in the denominator. So the same thing happens here. We have negative x cubed plus 40x plus 16 divided by 15x squared plus 8x minus 48. Okay, and then here we have a negative 48, so that means we're going to have opposites. We're trying to add to positive 8, so I would do just some guessing and checking. Like 48, you know, is 6 times 8. That would give you negative 6 or positive 6. So that one's close. Okay, with your factors of 48, these two are the closest together, the 8 times the 6. Okay, so anything else that I try is just going to be too big. Like if you get the 4 and the 12. You get 36x minus 20x. Okay, so you do have to do some of the guessing and checking here. but there are no factors that are going to FOIL to 15x squared plus 8x minus 48. Okay, so if it's not factorable, then you're going to leave it like this. All right, and then your 9.2 homework is due tomorrow.